Thank you.
Appreciate that. Well, thank you so much. You know, and I'm just going to throw up your website. I think your website's on there as well, Miller Thompson and Street Church website. If you want to support Street Church, by all means, do that. All right. I understand you actually do give tax receipts as well now. All right. But yeah, this sort of thing does cost money to fight for the right to free speech, and I think it affects all of us. So any support that way, prayer support would be welcome, and of course, showing up in court on Monday morning would be good too. 9 o'clock at the Provincial Court Building, downtown Calgary. Thanks for that.
And that's the whole point. This is not a fight about art or a street church.
No, it goes far beyond you.
We're talking about the whole nation that is going to be affected. You know, people would say, hey, I don't like this guy, he's too radical, you know, he speaks too loudly, and whatever their point of view may be. But this is not about us as a small group of people. This is about this nation. And their constitutional rights and charter rights. This is bigger than the street church, City of Calgary, and Artur Pawlowski. This is not about that. This is about the preaching of the gospel freely, without being afraid to be
without being intimidated. Next time I go tell somebody, am I going to be in trouble? Somebody reports me. So, Grace.
And just to clarify what Art is saying when he's saying, I am not been in violation, in December of 2006, the right to use amplification was taken away. So his 2007 permit did not allow amplification.
Right.
The question of whether that decision to take away the amplification was unconstitutional or not is still not decided, because that is going to be decided in the courts.
That's going to be in the courts.
So
when is that coming up, by the way, the court case?
We don't have a hearing date set.
Not yet.
But that will be in the Court of Queen's Bench courts.
Okay.
What the city's done is arbitrarily and irrationally revoked his right to use the amplification to spread his message of hope.
Yep.
And it's unconstitutional, and we believe the courts will defend that.
All right, we will see. I sure hope so. Let's go to some more phone calls here. Let's take Alan's call from Ontario. Hi, Alan.
Hi, Paul. I'm actually listening to everything, and some of my questions have been answered.
Okay.
If they have all the permits and everything, and he's not doing anything that's
unconstitutional,
exactly, then what's happening to them is actually what Jesus said. If in Jesus' time, the religious leaders of his days, Jesus didn't do nothing wrong, but they
tried to nail him on some technicalities, didn't they?
Well, healing on the Sabbath day.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus said, well, if one of your donkeys went in the ditch, why don't you go get it?
Yeah.
And what I don't understand is people who don't go to church are complaining that the church are not getting outside of the walls and helping people. But these two people are, and they have everything that they need. And it's almost like they're like they're saying we're not doing anything, but then when somebody in the church does something, they're like hawks over their heads.
Well, yeah, but you know what, Alan? It's interesting. I'm not sure if the public's actually really complaining. I mean, the public can be steered quite easily this way or that way through the power of media. Well, yes, the authorities, and again, are the individual police officers really?
Jesus was here. But in 1 Peter, there's a lot of scriptures that I could use. But in 1 Peter, it talks about if you suffer for Christ's sake, you're blessed.
Yeah,
you're blessed. But when the suffering comes,
it's to be expected. You know what happens? Alan, what happens is when we stay within our four walls of the church and don't get out there, doing practical things like feeding the hungry, clothing them, ministering to those in the toughest areas, and I realize not all of us are around those areas and are maybe necessarily called to do that type of ministry. But, when somebody does it, it's not nice Disneyland Sunday morning kind of a service. It's a little bit different. And you know what? So I guess, we're not used to persecution maybe because we're not doing what we're supposed to do.
Well, Paul, if you're not, the problem with this, Paul, and we want all the signs and miracles. We want all the great things in the book of Acts.
Yeah.
But we don't want the persecution.
There's a price that comes with it.
Right. With this couple, what they're doing is what I see on TV, I don't see two people masochistically doing stuff for the sake of being persecuted. I see them doing things that are good.
You got it.
Jesus said, blessed, in the Beatitudes, blessed are you.
Alan, I'm going to let you go there, Alan,
persecuted
just
for
in the interest of time, all right? So sorry for cutting you off there, but Alan, thank you for your points there. Yes, there is persecution that follows. I mean, I guess the flack comes up when you're over the target, right? So,
just to address that man's talk, it was that we have seen in this church people healed from cancer, aneurysm, raised from wheelchairs, upside down rainbows, signs and wonders, eagles, bald eagles coming that were never there, hundreds of hawks. Like God is, His promise is that the signs and wonders will accompany the believer. When you come out with faith, expecting that God will move, He is moving. Last Monday, we had 13 people coming to Christ in the one of the toughest neighborhoods in the city, drug addicts.
You know what, if put this out as a challenge, I guess. I mean, if churches are not liking the style you're doing it in, that's okay. Just go and do it then in a better style that you prefer, but just go and do it. Don't stand by and criticize somebody who's doing something. If you can do it better, please do. That's okay. You don't mind if people do it better than you. That's all right. Just go and do it. Right. But don't complain if you're not doing anything about somebody who is doing something, maybe in a style that's not comfortable for you. I got to leave it there, Art, because I'm going to get a religious perspective segment on, and then we'll have some more chances here. But we're coming down to about the last 10 minutes. It always goes so fast, But we did ask a Buddhist professor in this case, Professor A.W. Barber, for his opinion on this whole situation here. And here's his response.
Artur Pawlowski is involved in street ministry. Street ministry has a long history of being on the edge because of the people that it is trying to help. These people are on the edge of our society. They often have mental health issues, drug problems, and more. So from the start, this ministry should be congratulated for its work to help those who need it the most. In Canada, we have both the freedom of religion and of speech. This freedom must include the means of speech in addition to the words said. There are serious questions as to how much the street church use of some amplification is actually affecting the residential neighborhoods. Perhaps the main problem is with the Calgary drop-in sinner, who some say are against the street church's ministry. If this is so, then both parties need to talk. Christianity has a long history of helping the needy and of ministers working in some of the most dangerous and unwelcoming places. The neighborhood that Mr. Pawlowski is working in is both dangerous and unwelcoming. The city should find an appropriate negotiator who can try to address the concerns of the street church so their rights are not violated, and at the same time address the concerns of others.
Well, I'll tell you what, from a Buddhist perspective, I really appreciate his view on it. Fairly balanced view. I'm thinking, hey, that's good.
And the same our approach, if there would be a Buddhist or Muslims coming there and trying to...
You would defend their right to do that too.
Of course.
And there were a group of Muslims
Canadians,
there one time that came out and ministered.
That's right.
I remember that. They were there for a short while. You talked about that. We had Muslims over there
trying to do for a month.
Yeah, but
it's tough. It's very tough.
It is hard work, absolutely.
I remember I got twice, they hired assassins to kill me. Drug dealers for the success that we have of taking people off the streets.
Yeah, you do take your life in your hands. I mean, there's no two ways about it. That's reality because it's affecting their business. Business, if I can use that term, for selling drugs illegally. Okay. Real quick, are you going to have any kind of, besides the court date, Monday, are you going to have any kind of protest or anything with kind of let's do something about this loudspeaker thing if it doesn't pan out?
Yes, we would like to invite the viewers and Calgarians and the churchgoers, please, if you don't like me, fine. If you don't like the street church, that's okay. But if you love Jesus and your rights as Canadian citizens, come and at least stand with us for the rights of our freedoms. And we would like to invite you for the protest on the steps of the City Hall.
When's that then?
We will see what the outcome Monday will be. That's up to that. And then we will decide the date to go in the front of the steps of the City Hall and plead with the mayor. He has the power to stop his bureaucrats. He has the power to say, hey, there's nothing wrong in what this ministry is doing. It's trying to help. You may find it extreme, but we will plead with this man's heart.
Okay. So you're saying respectful emails to the mayor would be helpful? Respectful ones, please?
Yes. The respectful ones, of course.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's go to some more phone calls.